We have a Coppola questions before we move on.
Couple of questions. At the beginning of the film, when the guy who shoots Lee's partner in the face before giving himself up, why do you think that he just gave himself up 10 seconds later? Do you think it was because he unwittingly was leading Harker to being put on the case for Longlegs?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that makes sense, because why would he just shoot her or shoot him and then just not shoot her?
I think this whole time Leah's been involved in this, whether she realizes it or not. I guess that's part of why when Longlegs is like, when you wanted to be a policeman or whatever, we all laughed and laughed. Like she's trying to steer away from it, but then the devil and Longlegs and his mom, or basically her mom, are like, we can use this and get her back in on it. You know, like it was meant to be or something. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like her fate. It's kind of what I think.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, there's no reason the guy wouldn't have just shot her, just like he shot the other guy immediately as soon as the door opened. So,
and tried to get away because presumably this guy is wanted for murder. Why does he have like plastic all over his house?
Was he going to go up there and kill himself or something? And then because she was like, "Don't shoot," he's like, "I won't." Like he can't. Maybe he can't. Yeah, no. Or he's not under control of it. I don't know.
Yeah, I wondered that, the whole time. But it makes the most logical assumption is that he is suddenly being controlled by the devil, who doesn't want Lee to be harmed.
Yeah.
The devil's been protecting Lee this entire time. And so he just makes him give himself up so that Lee is put onto this case, which I'm sure there were all sorts of other things that led Lee to that moment. But, you know.
Yeah, I think it's these things that make her seem psychic, but she's not. She's just basically the devil's directing her actions in ways that seem too coincidental.
Yeah, and occasionally seeing glimpses of things that she's already seen but didn't remember seeing.
Yeah.
Do you think that weird little conversation between Ruby and Lee about the veal being tied up in the box was a call forward to the dolls? Because the dolls are kind of put into the box the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a symbolic or a metaphor for the children not growing up because they're dead, right? So they get killed at a young age and they're unable to grow up.
I think it's also like they're not in control, even though they grow. They're not actually gonna grow. They're gonna get killed. And so it's like Lee and Ruby are both never free. Like even though it seems like it's ambiguous at the end, right? But maybe they're not. Maybe they're still under sway of this whole thing.
That's one of my big questions is, do you think that Lee is now going to have to take up the mantle so that she can protect Ruby in order to, she has to continue the killings?
It kind of feels like that because that means the 13th ritual didn't happen. So, and she couldn't destroy the doll. So now is Ruby going to be the one whose life is dictated for 20 years? Maybe Lee enters into a deal to protect Ruby and the cycle just starts over.
Well, according to the writer-director, Lee's free of anything to have to do with it from now on, and it's Ruby's problem from here on out. That's her problem. Huh. Because somebody asked,
makes sense because the doll...
could you use this to set up a sequel, or is like Lee now going to be responsible for Ruby? And he's like, the way I see it is Lee's free. That's not her problem anymore.
I think that's why her mom shot the doll and blew its head off. It was like, it actually did free her, but that last doll is still intact and Ruby's still alive. So, she's now trapped basically the way that Lee was. Yeah. How I look at it.
But there's nobody to carry out the murders now. There's nobody working for Satan to commit the murders.
Okay. So Satan can't influence Lee anymore for whatever reason.
Yeah. So there's like a part of Ruth that's still awake and she comes out of it. And that's why she shot the doll, was like, I have a moment here. I can free you from this curse so that you don't end up like me.
Maybe because Longlegs was dead and she's taken over now and has a little bit of autonomy, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I would think that her rationalization is Longlegs is dead. You free Lee by destroying the doll. And then Ruby's death completes the final act, and then they'll both be free.
Yeah.
There's no more work needs to be done. But now, even with Ruby still being alive, it's doesn't matter because there's nobody to carry out the rest of that final act, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I guess so.
Then we'll find someone else to work through to finish it.
Yeah. That's why I was wondering if it would just, the cycle would begin again with Lee as the kind of Ruth character.
Yeah.
Going forward. Was it just me, or did Longlegs' face look just a little bit different every time we see him?
It's hard to tell because we see him in different points in time. Mm-hmm. So I think he just keeps doing more and more work on his face. Maybe he cuts part of his face off and puts them in his face off. That's part of his face off. It puts them into the brains of the dolls, and then he's like, he's a doll maker, so he hacks together his own plastic surgery and fixes his face.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
because in the shot when he's talking to Ruth's mom, or to Ruth, he ties her up. He's like, it's a lot younger. Obviously, it's supposed to be in the 70s, but his face is it's still done a lot of work, but it's not all as hacked up, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like he's already been cutting parts of his face off or something, changing his appearance for whatever reason. Because like according to the website, would have been the 7th murder, so he'd done it 6 times already. So maybe every time he did it, he had to go through more of a transformation. Could also be just making him look more bestial and inhuman the longer time goes on.
Yeah. I like the idea that he's sort of reconstructing himself as, because he's a doll maker.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool idea. Final question I'll ask is just, aside from the devil, what do you think the snakes in those flashes were meant to represent?
I just think it's a devil. Serpent's always been a symbol of the devil. And then I think I think there are 2, and I think one of them is supposed to be Longlegs, maybe. It's her mind trying to tell her something that she can't remember. Maybe.
Yeah. No creature has a longer leg than a snake.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Elephants. They got a pretty long 3rd leg.
Where was Longlegs going when he got arrested? With those, like that, he had the briefcase full of his notes and stuff, and then he had looked like a suitcase of whatever. Was it doll making parts that he was just trying to move on and go continue his work elsewhere? Like, obviously, he wanted to be arrested. He knew it was going to happen. So why did he have this stuff? I guess he would have had the briefcase of all of his notes so that they would hold him, because that would definitely tie him to the other murders. So he knew that they would keep him around to be interrogated by Lee. So I just thought it was weird. Like, why is he waiting for a bus when he's got a car that we've seen him driving around? It seems like he could be caught a lot easier if he wanted to.
Maybe just to distance himself from Ruth's house and be caught somewhere out and about, somewhere innocuous that wouldn't lead them back to Ruth.
That makes sense.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. Why is he taking all that stuff if he plans to get caught? But yeah, like you said,
I think it's just like he wanted to have it on him so that they could tie. Maybe they were both briefcases full of all of his notes for years and years of stuff, and he just wanted to have all the evidence with him so they could keep him.
Yeah, could be.
I guess my other one is more metaphorical. Is just, what do we think is the origin of Longlegs? Was he someone who willingly decided to serve the devil, or did he get roped into doing this the same way Ruth did for similar circumstances?
My headcanon is that Longlegs was in a band, and
I like that now too. He sold his soul
because he sings almost everything that he says. We see a guitar at some point.
He listens to the rock music.
He listens to all these bands. He has all these
lyrics written down of
long hair. I think that he was in a band, and he started listening to satanic music, and that was sort of to tie into the satanic panic of the 90s.
Well, even in the the hippies in the 60s, they would say all kinds of shit about hippies being satanic or whatever, and the free love movement. And the killings, according to the fake website they set up, the killings started in like 66. So
that's what I think is like. He was the OG Jeremiah Sands. Just didn't have the looks.
Yep.
Or the dog.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Because it seems like almost like he's trapped in that one scene when he's singing, "Mommy, Daddy, I'm," and then it flash forward, it mirrors Lee screaming in the car as well, in the same car, driving it and stuff. So it's like, was he at some point not a satanic worshiper who just got pulled into this through one reason or another. It's just a cycle that repeats itself over and over again.
Yeah, I think so. That's where my head went, was like he was a normal guy who unwittingly triggered something that caused him to be connected with Satan, and the rest is history after that.
Right. Because, we see both Ruth is doing this, but she's doing it to save Lee. So she was doing it altruistically, but ends up doing horrible shit and becoming a full-on convert, I guess, if you want to call it, at the end, by like, don't call me your mother, hail Satan. Like, who's to say Longlegs didn't have the same thing? He was just some normal guy that something happened to, and then now he's just been stuck doing this for decades.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he's like crying when he's singing happy birthday and stuff. Like, he knows he's getting close to being able to be free, or he's just close to being able to hang out by the right hand of the devil. Like, he's fully converted now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like that idea that he's kind of a pawn in this too. We're all pawns for Satan, I guess.